And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Friday the 13th. I'm not superstitious, but if there's any day that defines Friday the 13th, it may be today. We'll get into it. This is serious talk about everything that affects you. We'll do the markets. We'll do Israel, Iran, the economy, your job, your industry, anything that comes to mind that matters. And if you don't get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us, you should. We'll also put it on the podcast apps. And if you'd like to email me, all you got to do is be nice and respectful, because we will be nice and respectful back, unless you're a Hamas lover. Fair enough? Ladies and gentlemen, we've been starting every show doing the markets. Today, we change it up. For obvious reasons. Let me explain. We had told you that there was a chance that Israel was going to go and attack Iran and their nuclear wants, and that is what happened overnight. Let me backtrack to how we get here. In case you do not know, Israel is attacked all the time. They're attacked from all sides. It's been going on for years. My first trip to Israel, I had to go into 6 bomb shelters. On the 7th, I'll explain what happened. The reason why I had to go into bomb shelters is because missiles were being lobbed into central Israel. One time, I was in the Carmel market, beautiful open-air market in the middle of Tel Aviv, and we hear a thump, and somebody says, it's a missile, and that's the Iron Dome. Quickly run out to the parking lot. Above my head, a missile was taken out by the Iron Dome. I still have the picture. I have posted it on my Twitter feed. What was interesting about that, nobody was running. Nobody was scared. And I asked some people, it's a missile. Don't worry about it. I go, what do you mean? He goes, this has been going on for a while. The Iron Dome works very well. I go, what is Israel going to do about it? They said nothing. What do you mean nothing? They're being attacked. We're being attacked. Yeah, but. If it gets rough, Israel will do a few things, but they don't want it to escalate. And as long as they're able to take care of business, that's the story there. I was amazed. Imagine living in, let me think of a place. Imagine you lived in Washington, D.C., and from Northern Virginia, they were lobbing missiles over your head. That's what basically was going on. And a couple of episodes besides that while I was there, we were having dinner at Tel Aviv on the beach. There's a restaurant. It was nighttime, and the sirens go off. And we see people rushing into the kitchen because there's a bomb shelter there. But we also see a bunch of people sitting at the tables. And we inquired. The tourists ran into the bomb shelters. The Israelis were sitting at their tables. So we sat down and ate. Another episode, we were leaving. A Delta flight back to New York. About a half hour into the flight, we were turned back. The pilot said it was mechanical. Terrific. As we were landing, there was about 100 cars, all lit up. As I was walking out, I don't remember if it was a steward or the pilot, and I looked and said, "That's not mechanical." Gave me a smile. It was bomb threats. Every plane was turned back that night because of bomb threats. That's what the Israelis and the Israeli people have lived under forever. And every now and then it escalates, and Israel gets tough on them, and you've seen that in the last year, especially after what Hamas did. And Israel did a lot of damage. And then it slowed down and stopped and back and forth. You have Hamas that committed atrocities, and you have a bunch of ass clowns telling them, stop, stop. While Hamas has said there will be 1,000 October 7ths. Now, if you're running a country and you have people that say there's going to be 1,000 October 7ths, what do you do to them? You eradicate the hell out of them, which takes us to Iran. Iran is complicit in all this. They run the terror operation and have been doing it for years with dollars and weaponry. But they crossed the Rubicon. Nuclear. You see, Iran has stated unequivocally that they want to blow Israel back into the sea, end the Jewish state, destruction, destroy. And now the International Atomic Energy Agency has come out and stated that they're about as close as can be. Israel has no choice. You put it all together, and Israel put the hammer down to defend the country and their citizens against a plague of terrorists. Iran doesn't have a government, they're terrorists. They don't have a military, they're terrorists. And amazingly, the intelligence was so good that Israel took out a bunch of terrorists, as well as a ton of nuclear and weaponry. So that was overnight. In the last couple of hours, Iran countered ballistic missiles, hit Israel. The damage, don't know yet, did see some buildings. Markets, we have to segue, took a hit. First thing overnight, futures were down 700. Oil prices up $7-8 because of this. And why would markets be down? Well, if oil prices go up $7 or $8, and of course there's the worry about war getting big time. Not usually the greatest thing, but that's the story of today. Israel defending their country and their citizens. Benjamin Netanyahu once said, if we threw down our arms, we'd be destroyed. If they threw down their arms, there'd be peace throughout the land. That's true. You're dealing with a bunch of scumbags. You're dealing with a bunch of animals. You're dealing with a bunch of terrorists. First, it was Hamas, and now the Iranian terrorists. You know who is the happiest people on earth today? Iranians. They're tired of it. You know what the happiest countries are on the earth? The Arab countries. They hate Iran. In case you don't know, Saudi Arabia allowed Israel in their airspace to destroy drones before they got to Israel. Saudi Arabia! That's what's going on. How it goes, don't know. But Israel has the intelligence, the smarts, the determination, the defense, and the weaponry to do the job. Don't know how long this lasts, how far it goes, but boy, oh boy, one hell of a day. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on that, get to the markets. Lots to say. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. By the way, think about that. Imagine if you lived in New York City and a bunch of terrorists were lobbing missiles from Hoboken into New York City. That's what Israel goes through all the time. And then, of course, you have the ass clowns. You know who the ass clowns are, right? Oh, apartheid this and apartheid that. As I have told you, Jews, Christians, Muslims, Sikhs, every race, creed, color, gender, denomination, short, tall, fat, skinny, blonde, brunette, redhead, you name it, live, work, and play in Israel. If you were over there, terrorist land, tell them you're gay. If you do, you're dead. But they'll first torture you for it. That's why I'm always amazed. Jews for Hamas. Excuse me. Gays for Hamas. I'm seeing it a lot. And people are getting questioned. You're gay for Hamas. Do you know Hamas would murder you if they knew you were gay? I don't know that. What? Let me show you video. Don't show me the video. I don't believe it. It's AI. It's propaganda. This is what we're dealing with. And that's why I use the term tic-tac-toe. I don't even try to debate these people. Why? You can't win, so you don't play the game. Simple as that. Israel's the opposite of apartheid. Loving, giving, caring, peaceful. But when attacked as a country, you attack back. Case closed. We move on. So, first off, the easy part. Oil prices spiked today, up $5. They were up 7 or 8, so oil stocks are up, but not so much. Up some. Defense stocks. Lockheed Martin up 17, Northrop Grumman up 19. For example, why defense stocks? Duh. Gold. Obvious reasons. What was down? Just about everything else. Some things worse than others. Why would markets be down 769 on the Dow, 68 on the S&P, 255 NASDAQ, 282 NASDAQ 100? Even the semiconductors down 137, transports 224. Russell 2000 and mid-caps had a rough day also. Why would the markets be down? Well, let's take number one. Uncertainty, what happens next. Number two. Uncertainty, what happens next. Number three, uncertainty, what happens next. How do I look at this? Well, we don't rationalize moves. That's the first part of the equation. We don't rationalize it. We know what's happened. But when we do our scans this weekend, we'll be focused on what we see, because when all is said and done, It's not the news, it's how things react to the news. And the reactions we're telling. And we'll adhere to the reactions. Today's the first day I'm able to say to you in a while, oh, we got a bunch of breakdowns. Not a ton, but enough. And some weird reactions also, which we'll get into in a minute. So we had deterioration today. To what extent? Not sure just yet. The indices have had a good move. And by the way, when all is said and done today, the QQQ NASDAQ 100 was down 1.26%. The S&P, 1.23%. Interesting, which does not happen often, the Dow was down 1.77%. Usually when there's strife, the Dow holds up better, but a couple things happened in the Dow today. American Express down 10 and change. Why? Well, I think that may be travel related a little bit. Goldman Sachs down 11, well, financials pulled in, but Sherwin-Williams down 20. Sherwin-Williams down 20. Why would that be? Don't know. But I know it was down 20. It was a downgrade, but should a downgrade have something down 20? No. So what I look and see is, that's just the damn top. And then I look over and see Home Depot, top. Lowe's, top. Sherwin-Williams, you buy their stuff at Home Depot and Lowe's. What does that all have to do? Housing related. What's been the worst acting group in the market? Home builders. So that's not good. And Sherwin-Williams is in the Dow. And in case you don't know, a 20-point move in the Dow is 130 Dow points. So that's what happened with the Dow today. The next part of the equation, one of my favorite lines. When markets are weaker, it's easier to isolate strength. So just letting you know, there was a narrow list of strength. Remember Oracle from yesterday? We told you Oracle had this monstrous move on 4% earnings. And we said to you, that has us thinking something good is going on. We're going to try and figure it out. We found out that they raised numbers going forward, but that move was ridiculous yesterday on volume, but that was institutions buying. What happens today? Well, I came into today before all the news, hoping Oracle would pull back, set up, give us an opportunity. Well, we see the Dow's down 700 on the open or around. We're thinking Oracle's going to give us an opportunity. Pullback. Well, somebody upgraded it, okay, but still, on down 700, they're going to pull it back. Oracle was up $15 today, 7.5%. So leave no doubt the institutions on a very bad market day were buying the crap out of Oracle on something they see, and Oracle stock should be in focus. It is for us. It's extended here. Don't know if we'll have an ability to buy it. We're going to hope for it. You better put it on your watch list. Up next, more on this. This is the one only Investor's Edge. Okay. Before we completely segue into the market, I want to talk two people, if you don't mind. First, a gentleman that I have never met, and I hope to one day, Trey Yingst, Y-I-N-G-E-S-T. You can check him out on Twitter. He is a foreign correspondent for Fox News, and he is the frickin' greatest. And they were under fire today, and under fire, he was professional and passionate. He had missiles lobbing, ballistic missiles near him, and was on TV, helmet on. I love this guy. If I ever met him, I will take him out to the best dinner he ever had and thank the hell out of him. Those who have watched Fox News, you know him very well. Man. Next, speaking of Fox News, General Jack Keane, Keane, my favorite go-to person on everything foreign policy and the things that go on. He was on several times today, speaks to you, not over your head, and just knows his stuff. I've met him. I've thanked him. He was appreciative. Two people I am so enamored with, and their professionalism and their know-how. And again, those that watch Fox News know exactly what I am talking about. Markets. I started with Oracle, but some other things went on today. And remember what we said? It's not the news how things react to the news. MasterCard and Visa have been calmly and quietly getting back the tariff crumbling to where they hit highs in the last few days. MasterCard down $27 today on more than double average volume. I think it was down 36. Visa was down 5% also on more than double average volume, down almost $19 today. The news was, Walmart and maybe some other big retailers. And by the way, this was the news, and this is why it was so weirding me out. That something about stable coins? What? That Walmart and Amazon interested in using stable coins. Now, why would that affect MasterCard and Visa? Well, if this stable coin thing proliferates, you may not need it. But I have to tell you, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm going to read something. A move to launch crypto-based payments by Walmart or Amazon that bypasses the traditional payment systems which send shivers through the nation's banks and card networks. Oh, American Express, that was the reason it was down also today. With vast networks of customers and employees, troves of data, and far lighter regulations, retail and technology companies have long been viewed as particular threats to banks, including regional and community lenders. Stable coins are currently used to store cash or purchase other cryptocurrency tokens. They are supposed to maintain a 1-to-1 exchange ratio with dollars or other government currencies and are backed by reserves of cash or cash-like assets, such as treasuries. Well, there you have it. We'll see how it plays out. Just letting you know. And I can safely tell you, we don't own any MasterCard and Visa, but I can safely tell you we could have. We certainly could have. Next. We always tell you be careful about these no sale stuff, right? Well, I have to tell you, symbol SBET, I mentioned it to you, went from 2 to 124 in 5 days. The day it hit 124, it closed at 75. It closed yesterday at 32. They announced a 58 million share secondary offering onto the market, just giving the middle finger to shareholders. It was down 72% today, down to $9 from $32. They have no sales. They lose a crap load of money. And interesting enough, it's been trading forever. So I believe the market sees this as a bunch of bull crap. We'll see how it plays out, but just another one biting the dust. Stay away from those sales companies, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, that 58 million shares in the float is hardly any shares. So the big dilution, down 22.5 bucks to $9.68 today, SBET. Next, Russell 2000 broke above range. Russell 2000 broke below range today on the weak market. You would think I would bought it, but we haven't. I say that because we've jinxed it. We bought it twice last year on the breakout and both times failed. There's your Russell 2000. Next, did I tell you Adobe? We had mentioned it yesterday in the aftermarket was up 30 and then was down 3. It was down 28 bucks today. By the way, the numbers don't look so bad, but it was down 28 bucks, down almost 7% to 385 bucks. Just letting you know, it has not been the bull market for a very, very long time. That is Adobe. We said at the onset of the show that, hey, just letting you know, we found a bunch of things breaking down. Breaking support levels, moving averages, rolling over. We have our own little terminology. Again, we have yet to scan fully, but we're just letting you know. So some deterioration today. Not a ton. And we'll see how it plays out. We continue with our theme. This is the most news-driven environment we have ever been in. And now you could add this to the fray. Before it was tariffs, which has calmed down a little bit. Now we deal with this. Yippee! Yay! And that's a little bit of the market today. But I'm going to repeat, we don't own Oracle right now because got extended yesterday and is more extended today. But that is the definition of the big institutions gobbling up stock and they can't find any, so price gets pushed higher on 4% earnings growth. Though they have raised the number on sales growth, which should propel earnings better. But that is one hell of a move. I'm thinking to myself, if it was up $15 today, with the NASDAQ then 255, what would have been up 35 bucks today if the market was flat? Bitcoin next. It's trying. It was down today. Ethereum ain't happening. They rally it up, try to break out, fail today. And as you know, 32,000 coins are at zero. They better hope this Bitcoin doesn't follow its way down. You have an administration that says they're all in on crypto. We still have our doubts. Just letting you know. No sales, no earnings, no product, no service. And people calling for 10 million price target. Somebody had a 30 million and said it with a straight face. Okay. Up next, this, that, and the other thing, and whatever else. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. By the way, do you know that since December of 21, what is that, about 3.5 years? The Dow is only up right now 12%. Did you know that? The NASDAQ is up 20%. And I'm taking the high of that cycle. The S&P, 48, 18, 11, 23%. And that's in 3.5 years. I was just looking at, when I was looking at weekly charts, and said, whoa, wow, that's quite interesting. And do you know that at the lows of the tariff crash, the S&P was back to flat from December of 21. The Dow was down 1% from December of 21. And the NASDAQ, you ready for this? Was down 10% from December of 21. Now again, to be fair, I'm taking the highs of December 21, not the lows of the bear market. But I can do things from any given point in time. The week in review. NASDAQ's only down 0.6% this week. That's all. It was down 1.3%. On the week, the S&P only down 0.4%. Was only down 1.13% today. The Dow today was down 1.79%, only down 1.32 on the week. The transports on the week only down 1.25%, was down 1.5. So really on the week is what happened today. I wanted to see the semis on the week. Semis were down 2.6% today, up 1.4% on the week. And that is a little bit of the weekly numbers in review. Other news of the week, my Mets, the New York Mets, have the best numbers, wins and losses in the whole Major League Baseball. I'm loving that. Great pitching. Maybe lose Senga for a couple of weeks, though, because he tweaked his, I think, hamstring last night. But we're quite happy with our Mets right now and quite hopeful. And Soto is playing much better. While we're on sports, how about Judge for the Yankees? An all-world year so far. Wow. He should get 5 MVPs for what he is doing this year. And that is your sports segment of the week. And of course, I believe game 4 tonight of the NBA. And the Florida Panthers were leading 2-1 in the Stanley Cup. And last night we're up 3-0. Then was down 4-3, score with 20 seconds to go to take it to overtime, and they lost in the overtime period. So that's 2-2 against Edmonton. And I didn't even know that a Canadian team, which is amazing, hasn't won the Stanley Cup in years. I had no idea. And now, that is your sports segment for today. Backing up on the market. Remember, when we go, we're not saying we're going to bear market, but when we go into bear markets and we think something's up, we use the 100 stock theory. And we tell you, imagine if 100 stocks were in the market, just 100 stocks, and they're all equal weighted 1% each. And 100 stocks were all in definable uptrends, and you're assuming we know what a definable uptrend is. And imagine if 50 of them stop going up and start flattening out. Well, you're still going up, but you have less soldiers helping out. Well, imagine if those 50 that flatten out start turning down. Well, you're going to have a tougher market because you have 50 going up, 50 going down. And then what if the 50 going up flatten out? Well, now you have a market that's going down. And of course, if the 50 that flatten out now go down, then you have 100 going down, you're in bear market city. That's why we tell you when we start to lose stocks and things are deteriorating. It does not mean we're going into a bear market. It does not mean much, except we're going to ignore those stocks and avoid them. But that's how the start of problems starts, by starting. You catching the drift? That's how trouble begins. By one, stock by stock. We're just letting you know today, in the first day in weeks, I can really come on and say, oh, we got some rolling over. We got some topping out. We say that, what do we mean? Draw some stair steps to the upside, then hit a stair step and not go up another stair step. Now start coming down, flatten out again, and then drop again. Stair steps going down. We got a few today. So just letting you know, doesn't have to mean much. All the time you get things, typically, even in bull markets, things break down. But we just want to make note of it, just in case, because I got news for you. There's a lot of crap going on. We didn't talk tariffs today, but there's still tariffs out there. Which, by the way, the Treasury Secretary yesterday said tariffs aren't taxes. Let me be diplomatic and say he fibbed. He's not stupid, man. He fibbed. And we would tell that to his face. Anyway, you all have a great weekend. You all drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. We shall be back on Monday. Peace out, all. Thanks for joining. Good night.